Hey folks, it's Dan from DisneyInfinityCodes.com, and I'm here with Anakin. Anakin regular, he's in the bottle, he's in the bucket, and Anakin glow. And this is part one of possibly two, possibly three parts where I'm going to tear down this Anakin, regular Anakin, and then tear down Light FX Anakin and kind of do a side-by-side comparison of all the pieces and parts to see what they had to go through to make this guy work. If you're into any of the behind-the-scenes stuff for Disney Infinity, there's tons of pictures out there that show the art department when they're designing the figures and how the pieces all break down. They're these sheets, and the sheets contain every single piece that goes into making the figure, from the hair to the head to the legs to the base to the NFC chip, everything. And so I thought I would do that, but do a side by side of both pieces, and then see where the changes and the differences happened. And so don't try this at home, because I don't want anyone to hurt themselves or anything like that. But it's very easy to take the base off of your figure. It's probably the easiest thing you can do. What I did was you just need a flat putty knife or something like that. You just wedge it in between the pieces. Just give it a little wiggle and it'll pop right off. And when it comes off of the figure, you'll get this guy here. And so I took that off before soaking Anakin, because you can damage the NFC chip here if you don't take it off. And so I thought, hey, there's no reason in damaging the NFC chip. So I've got that there. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it someplace safe. And so what the heck, I'll just stick it right on the Anakin card that I've got there. So and then here's the clear plastic base that you can see. There's the bottom of it there. So whoop. And so, okay, so I've been soaking Anakin in just hot tap water for a few minutes now. And a big shout out to my awesome friends on Facebook who have helped me, particularly Fernando. I don't know if he's got a nickname, or if Fernandez. You know who I'm talking about. He's going to be making a visit onto our site soon to show me all kinds of awesome customs he does with LED lights. And so through talking to him, I kind of got inspired to do this. So here we go. So I've been soaking Anakin, and Anakin is now, he's like a hula dancer. And so from what I was told, you can pretty much now just wiggle, doing gentle wiggles. You can get the figure apart. And so here we go. Here Anakin starts to come apart here. So here's his top, here's his torso, just came off, right? And I'll let that soak. Who knows, I might have to go freshen up the water and get it hot again. I'm just gonna pull. Ooh. The glue is really tight. Here I thought it would be a lot easier to do this, but I guess not. So you can see there in some of the seams the pieces already coming apart. And so a lot of your favorite custom artists. Oop, there we go. So I just broke free. A lot of your custom artists, and so I'm about to use a sharp object, but I'm not going to show it in the video because I don't want anybody to get any clever ideas. But you can just imagine me sitting back behind the screens using something sharp to pry this away. So what I was saying is a lot of your favorite custom artists, this is what they do on a lot of their pieces. They might not go through all the great lengths of soaking stuff in hot water and whatnot, but like, Gonda Chris, Evilos, I know, has done this to take apart the figure a little bit. Boy, so I just about got that other foot off the base, but man, it is tough. It's tough to get off. The glue is really strong. While I was setting up for the video, the water cooled down, and not nearly as, oh, there it just went. Haha. All right, so here's the sandy base, right? So we've got that, and then here is a foot. Here's one of Anakin's feet. So, well, this water is still pretty hot. And that right there is why I still have why I have this towel, because lots of stuff spills. So I should be able to, ideally, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pause the video right now, and I'm going to come back after I soak this stuff in some really hot water again for a little bit longer. All right, I'm back after much struggling and soaking and prying and forcing. I ended up getting them apart. There's a few pieces I couldn't separate without kind of tearing them in half, and so I thought, hey, I'll just leave it as it is, because the parts that I need to compare piece by piece are actually, I got them all apart in here and that are affected here, so that's pretty good. And I have a feeling he's going to be easier to take apart because his pieces are a lot thicker and bigger and hollow, and so I'm sure there's a little bit more wiggle room to wiggle them around. But just to give you a little idea, so here's the base, right? And then he's got the 2 feet. Pretty much every different color you see is a different piece for the most part. And then here's his legs. The 2 feet click into that, and then I don't know what the word for this is, the skirt, I guess, with the belt goes on around that. And in that quote unquote skirt, the front and back pieces fit. You can kind of see them here on the Anakin figure here. So those are those front and back pieces, right? And then here's his torso. And so this I can kind of give you an idea of how they're put together. So if you look there, you can see the top of his head. His head started to tear, so I stopped pulling the head apart. But you can see how the different pieces are assembled. So you can see there's the peg there, and that's kind of how they. And then when they all layer together, it looks like Anakin with his, all the pieces stacked together nicely. And so around his head, around his body here was this tunic piece. And then there's one arm. Both arms are holding the lightsaber on this figure. And so this arm, I'm incredibly impressed with how resilient this plastic is. I tore this thing apart, and it got to the point where I just gave up, and I was not being delicate. And you can see the lightsaber still intact. So I'm kind of astonished when folks say that their lightsabers ended up breaking, because I'll tell you what, this is probably the most resilient piece. I was trying to protect it, but it got to the point where, and so you can see here with this lightsaber, it's actually 3 pieces. If I can get it to zoom in on the lightsaber, how far back do I need to take it? There we go. And so you can see it's 3 pieces here. You've got the base of the hilt, the center part of the hilt, which is a harder plastic, and then the blue saber itself goes into that. So this bottom part here is the softer plastic. And then his other arm, here's the hand that came out, that the saber was going around, and then here's the other arm that the hand clicks into. And so when you're looking at this the figure here with the light effects, the parts that have affected and were changed were the base here, and then this got resculpted, these got resculpted, the torso got resculpted, and then this arm and this hand are all bigger. And so essentially, and when we take apart in part 2, which might take a day or 2 to happen because my hands are like raw because of pulling this apart. So the pieces that end up getting bigger, I'm going to set aside here to kind of highlight what ended up getting larger, so that the wire could run through it. So here are the pieces that I'm going to compare side to side, top to bottom with for the light effects figure. So once we get that, part 2 will be coming soon, and then we'll do a nice little write-up with a gallery of the 2 figures side by side. But this is how you tear down. All you need is a little bit of hot water and just something small to pry and kind of break the bond of the glue, and then of course a good force, a good pull Force Awakens. So there you go, guys. It's Dan from DisneyInfinityCodes.com. Check back for part 2 coming soon, and that's the breakdown of the Anakin figure, and then we'll dive into the FX figure and how the parts are bigger, smaller, yada yada. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, you guys are fantastic. DisneyInfinityCodes.com.